I want to thank you for joining us during this presentation. We're going to get started here in just a few seconds. I want to make sure everybody that wants to join us during this presentation is able to, because we got a lot of people who are joining us from all over the world. So if you just give me just a few seconds, I'm going to let everybody log in and we're going to get started here in just a moment. So if you're just now joining us, please type a 1 in the chat box now to let me know that you're able to hear me and see my screen. So looks like we got a bunch of ones. Looks like we're almost ready to get started. We got almost a max capacity today. I'm super excited to cover all this great content for you because I really want you to significantly increase your sales and revenue over the next 60 days. So if you're ready to get started, let's get moving right now. So as the slide here states, we're going to talk about how to 10x your sales and revenue in the next 60 days or less. But I get a quick question for you. What would it look like for your life if you had a marketing system that would magnetically attract only your ideal prospects while consistently generating you upwards of $20, $30, maybe even $50,000 a month in income, all from your expertise, all without the need of additional staff or effort on your part? Just imagine what it would be like if you became the 900-pound gorilla in your industry and completely dominated your market in 60 days or less. So over the next 60 minutes or so, I'm going to reveal a complete marketing system that, when executed properly, will cause your prospects and customers to realize that you're the only company in your industry that they should be doing business with. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly how you can make the advantages of doing business with your company so obvious to your prospects and customers that they will quickly and easily draw this conclusion: I'd have to be completely insane to work with anyone else but you, no matter the price. Now, the system I'm going to share with you today is called the Renegade Marketing Program, and it has been proven to significantly increase the sales and revenue of nearly every one of our clients who we've implemented it for. In fact, we have many of our clients who have doubled, tripled, and even quadrupled their revenue in 12 months or less. Here are just a few examples of our results. Now, as you can see here, this works for any business regardless of where they're located at. This particular company is a hyperbaric company who is selling hyperbaric chambers all across the country. And as you can see here, we're able to significantly increase their web traffic by generating them thousands of visitors, both organically and paid visitors across different channels of media, which directly resulted in more phone calls, taking this company from basically $30,000 in revenue to over $70,000 in revenue in about 90 days. This is an example of a local chiropractor located here in Washington. And again, as you can see here, we were able to significantly increase their web traffic by putting them everywhere online where their ideal prospects might be looking for them, and that directly resulted into more phone calls. And one last, well, not one last, but as you can see, this is a dentist that we worked with, also located in Washington. And again, we were able to significantly increase their traffic to their website, practically tripling their web traffic, and basically tripling the amount of phone calls they were able to get. Just imagine if this was your dental office and we are generating you an additional 100 phone calls per month. You think you'd be able to convert a few into new patients? Absolutely. And most of our clients are able to generate significant results within 60 to 90 days. As you see here, we started with this particular client January 1st, and within 60 days, we almost doubled their website traffic. Now, you're probably wondering who this is for. If you make money from your expertise, like a coach, a consultant, a service provider, maybe you're a chiropractor, a dentist, an attorney, an accountant, or maybe even a plastic surgeon, maybe you're an author or speaker, then this is for you. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you a copy of my Renegade Marketing Kit absolutely free. Basically, the Renegade Marketing Kit is the exact strategy that I implement for each of my clients to maximize their visibility online and generate industry-leading results regardless of the industry that they are in or the market they have their business located at. And on top of that, if you also give me 30 days, I'll also give you 30 days access to a sales system, a piece of software that will help you put the Renegade Marketing Kit to work for you as early as tomorrow, absolutely free. So you're probably wondering by now who I am. Well, my name is Dean Haw. I am a local marketing expert, and I'm located in Seattle, Washington. I help local business owners attract more qualified buyers by developing a marketing system designed specifically for your ideal target market to help you completely automate the entire process. And I do that through my marketing agency, which is called Renegade Media Company. Now, before I can get really started explaining the 5 steps in the Renegade marketing program, I got a quick question to ask you. Does it ever feel like that no matter what type of advertising you do, it just doesn't work? Or do you feel like you're always chasing that new shiny object and throwing money away on the latest fad without ever getting results? Well, the problem is, and the reason why you're not making those sales right now is because you're doing your marketing and advertising all wrong. And I'm going to prove it to you here in just a few moments. But before we can cover that, I have to share the 2 biggest marketing mistakes that nearly all business owners make. Mistake number 1 is using one of the 3 forbidden phrases. You're probably wondering, well, what are the 3 forbidden phrases? Well, they are phrases that use platitudes. In marketing, platitudes are essentially the kiss of death. So let me give you the definition of a platitude as it pertains to marketing. Platitudes are words and phrases that are dull, obvious, predictable, and they lack the power to create interest because they are overused and unoriginal, but nevertheless still commonly used as though they were unique or distinctive. Here are some examples of platitudes. They are words and phrases like highest quality, best service, largest selection, gets the job done right the first time, 30 years of experience, been in business since 1776 BC. Honest, hardworking, you've tried the rest, now try the best. Number 1, your dealer of choice, state of the art. Now, does any of these sound familiar? Well, of course they do. You've been hearing this kind of junk for years. But here's the killer question. Do you have these terms in your marketing? I bet you do. I don't even know you, but if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I bet the farm on the fact that your advertising and marketing is loaded with platitudes just like these right now. Take a look for yourself. But here's the deal. These platitudes that fill up your marketing and advertising are killing your profits and destroying your market opportunities. You see, these platitudes don't distinguish or separate you in the marketplace. They don't quantify or specify anything. They're not believable, they're usually not provable, and they cause your prospects to minimize, discount, and disbelieve, or worse yet, ignore you altogether. Ultimately, your target market ends up believing that you and your business are just like everyone else in your industry. This is why your target market ends up grinding you on price. Regardless of how great you claim your service is or how much better you think you are from your competitors, none of that matters because you just introduce yourself to the marketplace as one more scoop of vanilla in a whole sea of vanilla. Now, there's nothing wrong with vanilla. In fact, I love vanilla. But what I am saying is that if you are perceived as being vanilla or just like everyone else, the only real message you are portraying to your market is me too. Think about how pitiful that is. You see, this is why you're not dominating your target market, and this is why your sales and revenue are dependent upon the force of the market and not your ability to win over more customers and dominate your sector. Let me break this down further for you by using some objective evaluations so you can determine if you're really using platitudes in your advertising or not. I want to take you to 3 platitude evaluations. So let's review these evaluations to expose what we call the 3 forbidden phrases. The first evaluation is called, well, I would hope so. Seriously, that's the name of the evaluation. So here's the deal. Look at the statements and phrases in your advertising and ask yourself this question. Could or would my prospects immediately respond to these statements by saying, well, I would hope so? Let's look at a couple ads for plumbers right now. This one says, well, find it fast. Well, I would hope so. How about this incredible headline? Plumbing service and repair. Well, I would hope so. You're a plumber, right? I can't believe it. This plumber does plumbing service and repair. Quick, honey, let's call him instead of the other 500 plumbers in town who also do plumbing service and repair. How about check this ad? Licensed and insured. We fix water heaters, clean drains, and garbage disposals. Well, I would hope so. You're a plumber. What else would you do? It's so painfully obvious that it's ridiculous. Or how about this common statement that says, committed to honest, ethical service? Well, I would hope so. What else would you expect them to say? Hey, we're lousy, we'll show up late, we'll make your house dirty, and make sure that the problem that we fix will break again in a few weeks after we fixed it? Of course not. Everybody's going to say great things about themselves if they can get away with it. You see how ridiculous these statements are, yet everyone uses them, including you. The biggest problem here is the fact of your true uniqueness and true strength, or the real benefits that your customers get for doing business with you over your competitors, can never show through when you use platitudes. So take a look at your advertising, especially all your printed advertising and or marketing materials. Do they pass, well, I would hope so evaluation, or are they full of platitudes? If you're using platitudes right now, then you need to make a change. Or at least better hope and pray that one of your competitors doesn't get a hold of this presentation. And this is only evaluation number 1. So here's evaluation number 2. Who else can say that? Now pay close attention to this one, because the question is not who else can do what you do, but who else can say what you say. The answer is usually anyone and everyone. So I'm looking at an ad right now in the phone book that says, Idaho's best. Really? Who else can say that? Now, this guy might actually be the best in Idaho and the best in the entire universe for all I know, but can you actually believe it just because he said it? I mean, who else can say that? Can't the guy on the next page of the phone book who says where integrity and quality meet, can he also say that he's Idaho's best? Of course he can. You see, these statements are dull and obvious, and they lack the power to create interest because they are overused and unoriginal. Now look at your ad, read a few lines, and then ask yourself, who else can say that? If one of your competitors can say what you have said, then you have failed this evaluation. Now, one of the most common platitudes in advertising is to tell us how long you've been in business. Everybody thinks this matters, but I promise you it doesn't. Here's another illustration. I want you to check out these websites with me. Here's Birch Roofing, located down in Dallas, Texas. Now, he thinks you should hire his business because he's been in business for over 28 years. As you can see here, since 1988, pretty big headline. But who else can say that? Well, how about his competitor who's on the very next listing in Google, who's been serving the area for over 60 years? You see what I mean? In fact, I want you to go online right now and type in any local industry to see what you find on company websites. Look up attorneys, mechanics, financial advisors, banks, contractors, designers, manufacturers, architects, technology or software companies, or any industry imaginable, and compare them to what their competitors, who are also on the first page of Google, and see what you find. I promise you, what you're going to find is that everybody is using virtual identical marketing statements, which are all platitudes. Now here's platitude evaluation number 3. It's called the cross-out write-in test. For this evaluation, I want you to pull up your website, and I want you to cross out the name of your company in your website, then write in the name of your competitor. Cross out, write in. So do you get it? Awesome. Now tell me this, is your ad still valid? If so, you just failed the test. Another way to illustrate this is to do it in reverse. Cross out the competitor's name on their website and replace it with your company's name. Now tell me, is their ad still valid? I mean, really. I don't care if you absolutely know that you have higher quality than your competitor, because your competitor can still say they have higher quality than you, even though it's not true. I can give you hundreds of examples, like insurance companies who can give you fast, easy quotes, or dentists who offer complete dental care, or landscape contractors who cut to perfection. The bottom line is that none of these ads pass the cross-out write-in test or other platitude evaluations. Now, when we implement the Renegade Marketing Program into your business, one of the very first things that we do is remove all the platitudes from your existing advertising. So here's mistake number 2. The second most common mistake that all business owners make is what we call fragmented or piecemeal marketing. This is the absolute wrong approach in marketing, yet is the most common approach in business today. Everybody's doing it, including you and your competitors. The good news, or bad news if you're slow, is the first one to fix this problem basically win. I'm serious. Now let me explain what fragmented marketing is, which is the wrong way to do it, in contrast to what we call a systemized marketing, which is the right way to do it. Fragmented marketing means that there's no cohesive message or comprehensive system handling your marketing for you. Instead, when you buy marketing and advertising, it's developed by the company who's creating the ad, right? Think about the last advertisement or marketing piece that you created for your company. What was it? Was it a brochure, a website, a printed ad, a radio spot? So let me ask you a question. Who created the final product for you? They did, right? The radio station created your radio spot. The magazine created your magazine ad. The design company created your brochure. The web design company created your website. And the video production company developed the content for your video, right? Now think about how fragmented that makes your marketing efforts. All those different companies have different ideas of what your marketing message should be on their limited experience. And inevitably, they all use platitudes, and then they throw in their own dose of creativity. Think about how wrong that is. You need to develop and own your own message. You shouldn't give it to others, and you shouldn't give it to a team of others who really don't have your best interests in mind, nor do they care about your position in the marketplace. This is why you need a marketing system in place. The system dictates the content of the advertisement and then dictates the sequence that your prospects go through and the messages that your prospects hear and see as they ultimately lead to your door. A systemized marketing program would actually facilitate the decision-making process. In other words, it would define what criteria your prospects should look for in a company, product, or service. In doing so, would lead them to buy from you and not your competitor. Here's another question to illustrate the problem. Take a look at your last advertisement. I know it's filled with platitude, but here's the question. How much money did you pay to have the content of that advertisement strategically created and formulated to ensure maximum results? Now, I'm not talking about the design or anything. I'm talking about the actual content, the message, what you actually said in the advertisement, and not what it looks like. See, that's what I thought. You pay nothing, right? 99.9% of the time, you only pay for the advertisement produced or designed, or you pay for the spot or airtime. The content was usually thrown together by a designer, a production team, or a salesperson. Think about that. The most important part of your marketing material, that is the content and the material, was put together for free by people who usually have no idea how to create good messaging. And have you ever heard the saying that you get what you pay for? When you think about marketing, you need to start thinking about your message. You need to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. So when you think about marketing, don't think about mediums anymore. Think about messaging. Only once you have the right message should you start considering which mediums to run your marketing. You see, this is the difference between a marketing system and the typical fragmented marketing. Now, I'm going to show you how you can use the Renegade Marketing Program to build and develop your own complete marketing system so that you can achieve what we call comprehensive marketing synergy. I know it'll probably be a big aha moment for you, and the light bulb will probably go on. But before we get too far down the line, I need to bring a very important concept to life to you. I want you to talk about what we call the sales cycle. Now, I know you've heard about this item before, so don't chew me out, because the sales cycle would mean something different in Renegade marketing vernacular than what you're thinking of. I want to change your definition of this term so you more appropriate lines up with the concept of a marketing system. Now, I want to get to this quickly, so I need you to go through a mental exercise with me. So I want you to draw a line in your mind with 2 points at the end representing 1 through 100 from left to right. The line represents what we call the sales cycle. Point 1 represents the point at which where your prospect starts thinking about buying whatever it is that you sell or possibly switching vendors if it's something that they're already buying. Point 100 represents the point which they actually make the purchase, buying whatever it is that you sell. So what you need to do is realize that there's a process, a timeline, a sales cycle that your prospect goes through before they make a purchase. That sales cycle is represented by this line. The time that it takes for someone to go from point 1 to point 100 could be 1 day, or it could be a year or more. It all depends. But the point is that you need to recognize that the sales cycle exists. Now think about it like this. Point 25 or so represents when your prospect starts checking out your products and starts or noticing ads for your product or service. Around point 50 to 60 is where the prospects might start looking at the difference between competitors or perhaps doing some online comparison shopping. Point 80 or 90 represents the point at which prospects have determined that he or she is going to buy. At that point, it's not a matter if they're going to buy, but just when and from who. So there's 2 very important things to recognize about the sales cycle. First, you must recognize that your job as the marketer is to push your prospects down the line on the sales cycle and control the process, although while your prospects feel like they're in control. Your job is also to facilitate the decision-making process or to simplify or simply to ensure that your prospects are moving along the sales cycle and heading towards your front door. The second thing is you must recognize that at any given moment in time, the number of prospects who have made a decision to buy represents the smallest number of people on the sales cycle. In other words, in your entire pool of prospects, there are anywhere from 5 to 10 times more people who haven't made a decision to buy anything yet. We call this group of people future buyers. Those who have made a decision to buy are represented by point 80 to 90 or so. Those are what we call now buyers. So here's an awesome tip that I want you to think about very carefully. 90% of the advertising you see or hear targets the now buyers. Why? Because they're already in the market to buy. So any advertisement about a product or service that are planning on buying already will naturally get results because the ad was there. This is why ads can get by being so terrible, because no matter how bad the advertisement is, as long as there is a market for your product or service, there will always be at any given time a number of prospects in the far right side of the sales cycle who will respond to poorly created advertising material just because it showed up. But you're only making money with this type of advertising based on the force of the market. If the market is moving, you can make money just by showing up. People are going to buy your product or service, regardless, as long as they're in the market to buy. Now, if you just show up, some percentage of the people will buy from you. It's just the force of the market. As long as the market is moving, you can sell it. The Renegade Marketing Program is not designed for people who just want to get by and make some money, just enough to pay the bills or some kind of jazz. The Renegade Marketing Program was created for people who are willing to do whatever it takes, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, to be number one. So we're looking for a few individuals who believe that it's their mission to be the very best they can be, who want to far surpass the competition so they have no hope of ever catching up, who are ready and willing to handle the success that comes from their determination, and who look forward to blessing others with the rewards of their success. What if you had a system in place that automatically followed up with all your prospects, controlling the marketing process and pushing the prospects down the sales cycle to your front door without any effort on your part? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. By the time I'm done, you'll know how to target 100% of your prospects, including both future buyers and now buyers, and will be on your way towards total market dominance. So here's component number one. It's called business innovation. Believe it or not, your very first marketing opportunity comes down to what you offer the market as a business. In other words, what is it about your company that is unique and distinctive that gives your customers a reason to buy from you over anyone else of your competitors. Some people call this a unique selling position or USP. The idea here is that you need something that is legitimately unique about your business that makes people feel that they should buy from you. Something that lets people know that you're not just a commodity, you're just not like everybody else. The best way to come up with a USP or a unique selling position is to innovate your business or product in a given marketplace by giving the marketplace exactly what they want. Plus, once you come up with something that's truly innovative, it's incredibly simple to write headlines for that innovation. Let me give you a few examples. Let's say you invented the car and you created a car that runs on water instead of gas or electricity, which is pretty innovative, right? What would you say in the end? What would your headline be? Hey, I got it. How about this? The efficient, environmentally friendly. No, of course not. But that's basically the equivalent of what most companies today are doing. They're building great businesses with incredible products and services and then telling the marketplace that they're efficient, environmentally friendly. In other words, platitudes. Now, writing a headline for an innovative product and service is easy. You simply make the innovation a big fat headline. For example, in the case of the car that runs on water, you use a headline that says, "This car runs on water." And I would probably add the subline that says, "Seriously." So this is what this would look like. This car runs on water. Seriously. See how that passes the 3 platitude evaluations? That's not something you would expect to pass, well, the hope so test. It's certainly no one else, and definitely passes out the cross out writing test. I mean, we're talking about a car that runs on water, for crying out loud. Remember what I'm about to say right now, and don't forget it. Here it is. The amount of money that someone is willing to give you is directly proportional to the confidence in your ability to provide them with the goods and services they want or need, period. Let me say that again for sake of emphasis. The amount of money that somebody is willing to give you directly is proportional to the confidence that they have in your ability to provide them with goods and services that they want or need. Now, you've heard this before, that the way to increase profits is to increase the value or perceived value that you offer to your customer. But I'm here to tell you that this type of thinking is antiquated, outdated, just flat out wrong. And when I mean wrong, I mean it's missing a critical element. Too many people think that the way to increase prices and perceived value is to add additional products and services or to reduce prices. But this is the wrong methodology. Invest in your time and energy and resources to increase people's confidence in your products and services in your company, then your price points and profits will increase. The key is confidence. So let me give you an example. Would you ever buy a Big Mac at McDonald's for 20 bucks? No? Why not? Because you know it's not worth 20 bucks. But what if McDonald's added a value to the Big Mac by adding a large fry and large Coke for free? Now, would you buy the Big Mac for $20? Of course not. What if they added more value by adding a Happy Meal toy? Still, the answer is no. Why? Because you know no matter what additional free stuff they have, it's still not worth 20 bucks. But would you buy a filet mignon or a steak from a major steakhouse like Donovan's or Ruth's Chris or Morton's for 20 bucks? Of course you would. What a deal. But why the difference? The Big Mac is made of 100% pure beef, and so is the filet mignon. So why are you willing to buy one and not the other? Because you're confident that one of them is worth more than $20 and the other is not. It's that simple. Winning the game of business and sales is an issue of confidence. Perception of value and are both consequences of confidence. So invest in building your market's confidence in your company, your products, and your service, and you will be on your way to total dominance. So years ago, a marketing acronym called AIDA, that's AIDA, it stands for the attention, interest, desire, and action, which was kind of formulated in Rich Harshaw's book, Monopolize Your Marketplace. Rich updated this formula and called it the equation. Both of these systems worked well for years and still do. However, in today's internet age, where there's so much information being disseminated online, along with some incredible software tools available to us, combined with a bunch of our own testing, we have refined this system even further. We call the scientific method for creating comprehensive marketing systems a Renegade messaging formula. And we use it exclusively within the Renegade marketing program to generate industry-leading result for all of our customers, no matter their industry. Ultimately, the goal of the Renegade messaging formula is to cause your customers and prospects to draw this important conclusion that you've heard several times already. I'd have to be completely insane to work with anyone but you, no matter the price. Don't you want your customers and prospects thinking that way? Of course you do. Let me show you how this works. The Renegade messaging formula, or RMF for short, has 5 components. Let me introduce you to them really quick. The first component is capture. This means you must first capture your target market's attention. It's pretty obvious, I know, but it's not as easy to pull off as most people think. Furthermore, it's done wrong more than it's done right. You'll learn how and why in just a minute. The second component is connect. Then this means that once you've captured your prospect's attention, you must connect with them on an emotional level. You have to hold on to their attention, but connecting with the hot button that is important and relevant to them. You have to make them feel that important and relevant information is going to be delivered to them. Information that will help them make the best decision possible. In short, you're helping to facilitate the decision-making process. Now, the third component is to inform. Now that you've connected with your prospects on an emotional level, you must give them enough quality information to make them feel like they can make an informed decision about how to solve their problem or gain immediate benefit. Again, you do this by giving your prospects enough quality information to address their emotional needs. Remember, the component is called inform. So you're informing them. This step is so critical, and in terms of making a sale from an emotional level to a logical one. The fourth component is incentivize. In this step, you have to give your prospect an incentive to take the next step in the buying process. This is often accomplished by giving your prospects an offer to get a free video, a free book, a video series, an audio program, or anything like that. However, you don't always have to give away a marketing tool. Often, you can give them a coupon or an exclusive discount, a special opportunity, or a low risk or high value offer. Whatever it is, remember that you are incentivizing your prospect. You're simply getting them to take the next step in the buying process. The fifth and final component is automate. This simply means that now that your prospects are connected with you in your marketing system, you must create content to automate the follow-up process. Companies and individuals are notoriously bad about following up. Fortunately, there are software available today to assist in this process. And like I mentioned, if you stay to the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you access to the same software that I created this entire program with. But even then, software will not give you the best bang for your buck if you don't properly craft your message and follow-up sequence. And that's why I'm giving you access to my Renegade Marketing Kit. Now, it's the scientific approach to marketing that is based on human nature, and when properly executed, drives your prospects and customers to this conclusion. Go ahead and say it with me. I have to be completely insane to be working with anyone else but you, no matter the price. Let's break this down further of each components of the Renegade messaging formula. Okay, before I break down the 5 components of this Renegade messaging formula, I need to give you a quick lesson in modern studies in neurological science. Don't worry, it's not technical, and even though I might use some big scientific words, and yes, it's incredibly important when it comes to marketing. And understanding what I'm about to share with you is basically the big difference whether or not you are going to be just like everyone else in the marketplace or you're going to completely dominate your market. So pay attention, this is important stuff. Now, the first big term I'm going to need to introduce you to is the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. Now, the reticular activating system is basically a part of your brain that controls certain functions of consciousness. More specifically, the RS is a loose network of neurons and neural fibers running through the brainstem, and these neurons connect with various parts of the brain. Now, the functions of the reticular activating system are many and varied. Studies have actually shown that they contribute to control of sleep, walking, sex, eating, even elimination. But the most important function of the RAS is its control of your consciousness. It's believed that the RAS, or reticular activating system, controls your functions of sleep, wakefulness, and your ability to consciously focus attention on something. Additionally, the RAS acts as a filter, damping down the effect of repeated stimuli like loud noises, which allow you to focus and allows you to prevent your senses from being overloaded. So why in the world does this have anything to do with marketing? Well, everything. I mean, think about it. What I described about your brain, there's actually a part of your brain that filters out what we pay attention to and what we discard, and that's called the reticular activating system. So it should be obvious that your goal in marketing is to make your prospect's reticular activating system your best friend. You want their RAS to pay attention to you and your company and products while disregarding everything else. It's a pretty simple goal, but making that happen isn't necessarily easy. But I'm going to teach you how to do it when we walk through the Renegade Messaging Formula, and you'll understand much better on why the Renegade Marketing Program is a scientific approach to marketing as opposed to a creative approach. So before I could explain on how to your prospects, from now on, I'm going to call the reticular activating system the RAS. To be your best friend, I need to explain a little something more about your brain. Specifically, we need to talk about alpha brain waves and beta brain waves. Seriously. Scientists have discovered that your brain is made up of billions and billions of brain cells called neurons. And these neurons are actually communicating with one another using electricity. Now, the electrical communication can be actually detected and measured by using a piece of medical equipment called an electroencephalograph, or EEG, which was invented by Dr. Hans Berger. Researchers have noted that these electrical brainwaves activities operate in a rhythm or wave, and these brainwaves actually correspond to certain known functions of everyday life. The two types of brainwaves that are relevant to us are alpha brainwaves and beta brainwaves. Now, alpha brainwaves are measured when we're calm, relaxed, or in a normal state of awareness. In other words, you're really not paying close attention to any one thing. Your brain is automatic motors performing daily regular tasks without real conscious efforts. For this reason, I call alpha brainwaves auto mode, since the brain allows you to function on autopilot. For example, have you ever driven to work and not paid attention how you were getting there, but miraculously you got to work? How? Because your brain automatically took you were without any conscious effort. Unlike conscious effort, you might be listening to the radio, shaving, grubbing down on a burger, or whatever you do, maybe even talking on your cell phone, using a speakerphone or some other hands-free device, of course, or whatever you do. But your brain is automatically driving you to work. So thank God to this auto mode of consciousness, because it allows us to function very well. However, think about this in terms of marketing. You see, the prospects might see or hear your ad with their eyes and ears, but not actually pay attention to it. Think about all forms of media, whether it's print, media, internet, or whatever. The vast majority of ads get lost because they're only seen on an alpha level, meaning your brain didn't really pay attention to it. Alpha brainwaves shut them out of your view because you're paying attention to something else. Alpha brainwaves, or what I call auto mode, is pretty easy to understand. So let's move on to beta brainwaves, or what I call conscious mode. So the first component is capture. Let's talk about the first component of the Renegade Messaging Formula. As a reminder, it's capture. Yes, this is the most obvious component of the formula, but I can tell you that it's done wrong more often than not. In fact, this is really one of the major areas that false doctrine that you're going to have to unlearn if you really want to rise to a place of total dominance. You see, large corporations and their Madison Avenue ad agencies have been using all types of strange creative methods for years to get your attention. And unfortunately, The memory of these advertising methods are stuck in your heads, so you likely to follow since you really don't know any different. So let's talk about hot buns. And let's get into the meat and potatoes. And yes, I love meat and potatoes. So how do you properly capture your prospect's attention? In short, you need to use hot buttons. Now, different people have different definitions of what a hot button is. Now, our definition is simple. A hot button is an activator that is important or relevant to the prospect. That's it. Now, remember, an activator is something that is familiar, unusual, or problematic and steps people out of auto mode and into conscious mode. Those activators cause your RAS to send a signal that says, hey, bro, pay attention. But most important thing here is to get your prospect to not only pay attention, but remain interested. This is the big key that is missing in nearly all ads that you see that otherwise successful capture people's attention. If you get this part of the process right, you'll be light years ahead of your competition. Let me give you some examples. Let's say you see one of Coke's billboards with the polar bear drinking a Coke. It might capture your attention because the animal is familiar and doing something unusual. But when the brain seeks for any clarifying information that makes it important or relevant,